Hi VC, Dave, with you after a long absence. Um, I haven't been buying any vinyl lately. Well, the record shops here are still closed. Uh, non-essential, well, non-essential. I suppose record shops are officially under that, but they will be reopening. Oh, well, actually, they have reopened. Sorry, this week. But yeah, I got a few things online. I know I rarely buy stuff on Discogs these days, but lately I sold two items on Discogs, and I thought, well, there's a few things on CD, a few things that I knocked off. I'll go through those with you. If you, this is something. This is something that I already have on vinyl, but I thought it's always good to have on CD as well. Television Marquee Moon. Uh, um, Yeah, a classic 1977 album. You know, one of those real seminal game changers of albums. It's long been a favorite album of mine. I have it on vinyl, a reissue, but um, yeah, good to have copy on CD as well. Uh, this, of course, has extra tracks as well. So and but uh, informative information there on the yeah. So yeah, I went on a kind of a CD buying spree um, with the with the money that I made from the. I sold two records, two that had been sitting in my for sale for ages. This is again, this is something. Oh yeah, the debut album by Tangerine Dream, Electronic Meditation, from 1970. This is the one early Tangerine Dream album missing from my collection. I'm happy enough to have it on CD rather than vinyl. Yeah, it came out in 1970. Very, very different from. Actually, yeah, it's been shown quite a lot. Carm. Carm has shown this. I've talked about it quite a bit. Yeah, quite different from what came after it. Konrad Schinzler of Cluster was involved in this, and it does have a very much more experimental and harsher sound to their subsequent albums. Yeah, and it has that real kind of, which I think that artwork was by Conrad Schinzler, or was it? Maybe I know I might be wrong there. Yeah, so there we go. Yes, again, another killing two birds with one stone. Two albums by Third Ear Band on the one CD. The first two albums, Alchemy from 1969 and Elements from 1970. This is very much kind of freak folk. They also did the soundtrack to Roman Polanski's Beth, which I have on vinyl. Um, Alchemy, I narrowly missed out on grabbing a vinyl copy of it at a charity shop. I told that story before. I got beaten to it by the Fiend. But yeah, this is a double CD, two CDs. So I think this came out in 2006. Yeah, so the first two albums. I had been looking for both of them, so Two birds with one stone. This is yeah. So sorry, the picture is really glare. Actually, I don't know if that's any better or not, but Roger Doyle is that's Roger Doyle there. Irish composer, um, avant-garde electronic. Well, he's kind of, I suppose. Um, how to describe him? He's been active since the 70s. Did a lot of soundtrack work. He formed a group. Well, it's called a group, but in a way, it was kind of an extension of his solo work as well, called Operating Theatre in the early 80s. Primarily him and this lady here, Olwen, Olwen Foray. So her providing vocals and him in the music. Um, Primarily the recordings here. This is called Operating Theatre, the early years. Very bad. Sorry about that. CD came out. Well, it's actually a reissue of a compilation from 2006. This came out about last year, the year before, on All Chival. It's a label which specialises in reissues of Irish post-punk for the most part. I suppose this kind of falls under, well, maybe the kind of more experimental kind of side of post-punk, even though Roger Doyle was active long before that scene. Myself and Ben Costello actually saw him perform live 2 years ago. There was a documentary which is well worth catching um, on Roger Doyle. What's the name of it again? Something beware. Who's afraid of Roger Doyle or something like that? Now, some kind of title. We went to see that uh, local arts centre here in Cork, and he gave a performance before us. But anyway, this is Operating Theatre, the early years. Um, uh, Now, kind of the post punk side of things, this is a band called Swell Map. Who are from Birmingham area in England. They consist of two brothers, and both of whom are now deceased, who went under the names Nicky Sudden. What was the other guy's name? Yeah, okay. It's it's very hard to see that picture. Yeah, this is called a Trip to Marineville, which came out originally in 1979. Kind of short, sharp. Well, some of the tracks for the most part, with a couple of long tracks, very kind of arty, experimental post-punk, a little bit of a rocky music, maybe slightly more experimental side of rocky music side on some of the tracks. Um, I love the titles. The album, its title itself, "A Trip to Marineville," I believe it was. That's named after an episode from Stingray. That a lot of the album titles are kind of influenced by like 60s TV shows like National Rescue, Thunderbirds, a lot of these kind of things. But yeah, so Swell Maps, A Trip to Marineville. Uh, this is by a band called Mogwai. This came out in around 2006. And the soundtrack album to well, I guess you'd call it a documentary, but it's really kind of more about the French soccer player Zinedine Zidane. Yeah, but this is anyone familiar with Mogwai? Um, it's entirely instrumental post rock. Um, I don't have much by them, but this is one I'd been meaning to pick up. But so, okay, and again, this was a long time on my want list. Uh, Brian Eno on Land Ambient 4. Um, yeah, what can you say about this one? This is the last of those ambient one of the ambient 1, 2, 3, and 4. It came out in 1982 originally. This is probably the most kind of dark ambient of those four. Yeah, on EG Records. Um, okay, so sorry about the filming this on my partner's laptop, so pardon the picture quality. But that's it. Hope everyone's staying safe and uh, leave a comment and let me know what everyone's getting up to. So everyone have a great weekend. Talk to you again. Bye now.